What's up, internets? Peoples of the internets, the people of the internets, and the tubes of the YouTubes. Intertubes? Whatevers. I am Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, here bringing you another Transformers third-party review. This review is brought to you by titanonetoys. I may be a tool, but I'm a tool for you guys. And the figure that we're reviewing today is the Zeta Toys Brawl. Or not Brawl, because this is clearly not Brawl. And, yeah, Brawl. He's the next, excuse me. Okay, voice still works good. Anyhow, so this is the next in their Bruticus, not Bruticus, Bruticus, maybe not Bruticus, Armageddon, yeah, that's the one. Their combiner thing that they're making, and this guy, he's green, and he turns into a tank thing, and oh my gosh, there's some things I really like about this figure, but there's a lot of things that I really hate about this figure, but yeah, so he first and foremost, he keeps pretty well with the aesthetic that's been passed down by the previous two Zeta Toys Armageddon figures. Namely, he's got so much chunk. Like chunk. He does have, smaller arms than most of the other ones. Like, he doesn't have a lot of stuff on his arms. So he's got like little forearms just like sticking out of this like chunk. He's got a lot of chunk. And yeah, okay. Yeah, he's got chunk. He's not, I mean, he's still pretty posable. He's got a pretty good range of articulation and whatnot. The kibble is visually distracting, but I mean, let's be honest. If you're buying this set, you're buying the set for the combined mode anyhow. So it really doesn't matter what the robot mode looks like to a certain extent, right? I don't know. I've just been spoiled by Unique Toys. Their Brawl is just like sleek and svelte, and the transformation is so nice and doesn't have this right here. Cause geez, man. Oh, geez, Rick. Anyhow, so in terms of accessories, he comes with this gun here. Yeah, that's what he comes with. Just this gun here. And it goes in his hand just like that. He also comes with a little few extra links of this this thing in case you break something. I know what I'm about to break right now. And so you can replace them or whatnot. A lot of people recommend, because it's got all this extra links that's just like stuck in here, and you kind of like gotta like wiggle it and fold it in on itself and do all this other stuff. And it is, by the way, a complete and utter pain in the ass. Kind of like somebody I know. And a lot of people recommend taking, I think the magic number is like 16 or something like that. Just basically taking some links off so that you just got it like that comes straight around here. But I figured for the sake of this, doing it all honestly, I figured I wasn't going to do that. But you can guarantee that if I did own this, which I don't, and I was displaying it in robot mode, which I'm not, then I sure as hell would be removing those extra links so that I don't get this crap. Cause damn. And now I just messed everything up. Worth it. Anyhow, so in terms of articulation, his head is on a ball joint, and it looks all ball jointy and looks up and down, turns all the way around. His head sculpt, by the way. His head sculpt is fantastic. It really just exudes that Brawl look, It's got the nice So when I was a kid, when I was a kid and G1 was still a thing, I swear to God, like half of my figures were combiner things, and I honestly thought that all Transformers were supposed to have like cube shaped heads. Um, and so in some ways, it's a bit of a you know, oh, what's the word for it? A cognitive something. It's the opposite of cognitive dissonance. Thank you. Um, where like now I'm getting, figures with like cube shaped heads again. And I'm just like, man, that's just like just how it was when I was a child. Which of course, it's not exactly how it was when I was a child, but it kind of feels like it. So it's the same thing, right? Lots of really good paint apps. Sorry, earthquake there. Lots of really good paint apps on them, by the way. The silver here, which, by the way, I don't know what this detail is supposed to be. On an actual tank, this is where they keep a few extra links for their treads. But this looks nothing like the links for the treads. I don't know. Sometimes they put reactive armor there, but this looks nothing like reactive armor either. So I have no idea what that is. Silver paint apps here, blue. Just all this stuff here. The cool thing about this is all extra pieces that are molded separately and then attached on. So you've got some like really good molding and sculpting on there. But little spot of gold right there, spot of silver there. Just that the paint apps are minor, but like they look that they're really nice. Little apps on all the shocks there, and this green is a paint app as well. I think, yeah, the green's a paint app. The gray is the molded color. He's even got paint apps right here on the back of his leg, which you got to move like pretty far behind him to actually see that. And then it doesn't show up in vehicle mode either because it's the underside of the tank. But yeah, lots of really good paint apps. I think it looks pretty good. It's the whole like, not giving you more than you need, but you get just as much. So his shoulder, it will move out all the way and kind of like box in his head. That'll help, stabilize. If he has a neck injury, he can just move his arms up like that and that'll stabilize his head. It's great. Shoulders on this like double hinge thing with jigs, so you can move his shoulders up, which I think generally looks better for figures to have their shoulders hunched up a bit. Makes them look a bit more imposing. You can have them go down though, then they just kind of look like they're saggy and weak. Yeah. Arm moves around all the way around, as much around as you want it to move. He has a joint up here, and some people will say, it's a double jointed elbow, and it's really not. It's really just a single joint that goes here and bends more than 90 degrees. I'd say about 135 degrees. Though I don't like that this elbow, it rubs just a little bit when it gets past that point. That could have been so easy to fix. Easy enough that they should have fixed it, but they didn't. But no, he's got a bicep swivel here, which does not happen if you do anything funky with this joint up here. It'd be nice if that joint did lock or something, but whatevs. Whatevs. Wrist swivel, no thumb posability. All of his individual fingers are each on their own little joint. This is standard for all of these Armageddon figures thus far. He does have a waist swivel. His waist pivots nicely. Though if you pivot too much, this is probably going to come untabbed. Not a problem. It tabs back in super easily. Little skirt armors will fold up on the front and the back. That allows his leg to move forward all the way, backwards, about none of it. Till you get this turd in the way. But I guess if we really want to move the turd out of the way, he can move all the way back. That's something. For knee posability, knee moves about 90 degrees. Hip goes out. A full Van Damme, though his ankle tilt will allow you to do significantly more than a full Van Damme. But, it's the ankle tilt for the Van Damme that never was. little bit of motion on the toe and the heel. This is mostly for transformation, but you can get some posability function out of it. Swivel up here at the upper thigh. And yeah. And you'll notice that as I'm handling this, like this tread just gets looser and looser and looser. And that is just an issue indicative with this. Okay, so back in the back when Zeta Toys was still Toy World, and back when they were making their Devastator Constructor, first ones that came out, like they both had these like cool tread things. And like everybody, I was like completely blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, moving treads and it still transforms. That's super amazing. And it is. I really like it. I think it's really cool. And you know, it had the tread that went all the way around the leg. And when it was in robot mode, there was like the little thing that like clipped around the back of the tread so that you could bend the leg and not have the tread fall off. And I thought it was really great. This one, they didn't do anything like that. They make it so that when you bend this, the tread just goes all freaking loose. And there's no, I mean, yeah, they're like, yeah, just kind of pack the extra tread into here and then close this thing over the top. There's a little tab down here that kind of locks into the tread to keep that from just flowing freely as you're feeding it down into here so it doesn't just come out the bottom. That's actually kind of important. But yeah, this whole thing is just kind of a pain in the butt. And like I said, you know, probably the best thing to do is to just take the extra links out when you put them in robot mode, and then put them back in when you flip them back to vehicle mode. Or just keep them in vehicle mode all the time. Or leg mode. He's going to turn into a leg sometime. I'm not going to show the leg right now. I'm going to show it later when I put it all together. I'm going to have to figure out how to display a figure that big when I put it all together, because every time I display a big figure, like, my whole display is just annoyed. And so I got to figure something out. Maybe I'll have to do away with the backdrop when I do big figures. I don't know. I'm still deciding. If anybody's got a great idea for me, just go ahead and drop it in the comments. And I'll give you a cookie. I don't know. What do you want? Actually, speaking of giving things away, I've been doing this for like 6 months now, 7 months. What I'm getting at is my 1-year anniversary is coming up, and I'd like to do something special for you guys. Haven't figured out what it is yet, but probably gonna combine up with titanonetoys, so we'll probably give something away. But I don't know, haven't decided yet. But yeah, I think something fun is gonna be in order. Anyhow, so let's get this guy transformed up. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take his gun out, because you know we don't want that right now. We're gonna put his arms. We're gonna untab this part from the front and this part from the back. This whole assembly is going to raise up just a bit. That allows it to flip around. And then this part here is on a double hinge, and that's going to come up like that. And this part here is on a double hinge, kind of, but this part slides. And once that's all slid up, these tabs are going to fit into slots here. And then the whole thing goes back down. Same thing with the other side. Untab, untab, raise up, double hinge, sliding hinge, tab together, rotate, down. Yes. We're going to open up this panel on his forearm, flip his wrist in, close it. We're going to rotate his wrist, his elbow, 180 degrees, and then push it in. And that's that. Same thing with the other side. Panel, hide the hand, rotate, raise. Yeah. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to just grab his chest sides like this. We're going to pull them apart. Actually, We're going to untab this. Yeah, now we're going to pull them apart. We're going to whoop the head down, and then we're going to push it back together. And that is how we hide the head. Kind of clever, I think. You know, it's not the weirdest one I've ever seen, but it works. It worked quite well. We're going to throw this up here just to kind of get it out of the way. We're going to throw these like this, just to kind of get them out of the way. And now we're going to come down to the legs. So I started transforming figures instead of putting them from vehicle into robot mode, because like everybody does vehicle into robot mode. Because it's actually, for most figures, it's easier to go into robot mode because you have to like line everything up in a certain way to go into alt mode. And you don't have to do that with robot mode. You just pull them out and, you know, put them in the robot configuration. Which is why most everybody does it. And which is why I decided not to do it, because now everybody's got a good video guide for turning it back into the alt mode. That being said, this is one of the cases where it is so much easier to go into vehicle mode. Oh, I'm pleased with myself right now and my decisions that I've made. All right, so what we got to do here is we're going to pull on the knee joint. There's a tab. There's a peg that goes down here. We're going to unpeg that just like so. And this panel is going to extend out. Oh yeah, and we're going to raise this up and get all of this crap out. I gotta make sure that this panel right here comes out. So this panel, by the way, I haven't seen anybody do this. Granted, I haven't watched a lot of reviews for this. This panel flips up and you kind of stick it in between a couple sections of link, and that stops your link from your treads from going all around. And what that makes it so that, because otherwise, if you don't have this in here, this is basically a break. If you don't have it in there, then you try to feed it in through the top, and it just comes right back out the bottom. And that is no way to stack up that tread. As much of a complete pain in the ass this tread is to stack up, it's even worse if it's coming out the bottom. So there's your break right there. It's kind of cool, actually, that they did that. For the foot, we're going to put his toe in first and then the heel. If you try to do it the other way around, it simply just won't work. The knee is on kind of like a double hinge. And it's going to go in, and this is going to sit in on the underside there. We are getting somewhere, folks. We are getting somewhere, ladies and gentlemen. Going to do the same with the other side. So pull on the knee, pull this out, double hinge, and then push it back. And it'll fit right underneath that skirt armor. It'll look like it's meant to be there, man. It's one of the things that I like about this figure is that when it's all transformed up into tank mode, like, it is very tanky. And I like that. Oh, real quick, I'm going to pull out the brake on this and yank out all the tread here. We're going to take this whole section here and rotate it 180 degrees. And then we've got these spring-loaded sections here in the waist. And we're going to push them in. And then that will allow us to fold this up. And now is where everything starts to come. Oh, shoot, I forgot an important step. This confounded me for the longest time when I was transforming it the first time, because I don't usually get instructions with this crap. I just, they give it to me and they're like, hey, figure it out. And I'm like, sure, I'll figure it out because I'm a smart person. The dick plate here, you need to pull this out and rotate it. I like to fold up one hip skirt. It just helps to go a little easier, I think. And then the dick plate goes all the way around. And then you put that back down. We're going to put the legs back into the proper configuration. But now the dick plate is going to fit into this section right here, like that. So put everything back together. Make sure everything's lined up back here. And it all appears to be pretty good. All right. Now, squish that back together. Put this back down. I just lost a tread. Well, then you guys get to see me put a tread on video. Yay! Yay. So, there's your double joint here. There's a peg here, and then there's a little peg here. And those are all going to go into their respective homes. By the way, there's also a peg right in there. For some reason, this is always a pain in the ass to do. I feel like I'm always forgetting something, or like maybe something's caught in there. But no, it never is. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. Alright, there's one. There's two-ish. There's three. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, the third peg just is wanting to fight me and not wanting to do things the way it should. Make sure the tread is all lined up properly. There we go. I did it. All right, and then just extend this out, and it works just fantastically. Once it's extended, the tread is actually really, really nice. But in any other configuration, the tread is a complete pain in the ass. All right, let me get this tread on. Actually, I think while the tread is completely taken off, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to put this on more quickly. Hopefully, so I've never tried to put the tread back on when it's all put back together, but I understand the concept of putting the tread back on. Of course, I had to put the tread on earlier when I borrowed this from titanonetoys, and he, being a sensible human being, disconnected a section of tread for robot mode. I had to put that back on and reattach the tread, but I was doing it in robot mode, so there was less space to go through. All right, so I guess I got to make sure that this is out. Tread. How do I hate thee? Let me count the ways. Feed this through. It seems to be feeding a lot more through than I thought I would. I wonder if I'm caught up on something in there. There we go. I see the tread. Ah, I just lost it. Yeah. Alrighty. And link that back together. Extend this. Yay! It works. Alrighty. Now, last but not least, this sliding the dick plate around exposed this little hole here. There's a peg on the underside of the turret. That's going to peg right into that hole. And then, last but not least, we're going to extend this out. This extends out fairly well, and you can see right in here, you can see the turret as it moves by. And once it's all clear and there's nothing in there, then you can even move this up and down. So there he is in his tank mode, and in this tank mode he looks exceptionally tanky. That's one thing that I can say that's really great about these Zeta toys, Combaticons, is that their alt modes are just really, really nice looking. Like, there's almost nothing under here that looks identifiable as a robot. You know, even though, of course, you know, like these are toes, and this is hip armor, and this is a midsection. You know, like, none of it looks like that. It all looks like tank, like pure unadulterated tank, which is how we want our tanks. We don't want adulterated tanks. No, we want unadulterated tanks. And he'll tread ish. Still not my favorite. Still not my favorite treads on a toy. That That distinction goes to the Soul of Chigokin Gal Gaigar. Leave me a comment if you want me to review that amazing piece of toy. That can fit on top there, so that you can have, you know, a big, really, you know, obvious looking gun in his tank mode. I mean, you may not have suspected that it's a robot, but when you add in that gun, oh boy, you suspect it now. These things, by the way, are super rubbery and flexible. You can open up these little turrets if you have like little mans. You can have little mans manning the stuff. I've got one of the new Microman mans. Man, ooh, that pops off if you pull it back too far. That's good to know. Good to know. But it pops back on too. Hopefully. Oh wait, it doesn't. Whatever. Anyhow, I was thinking that the little Microman man's is about the right size to go in there. So I stuck one in there, and then he kind of like fell through the hole in the bottom and got lost in there. And I had to chase him around for like ever till I finally got him out. It was a complete pain in the butt. So if you have a Microman man, you might think to yourself, gosh, this is the right size to fit in there. It's not. Don't try it. A Human Alliance figure will kind of fit in there, but they are actually way too big to really make the scale work. So the Microman mans, they're just about the right size, but that will also fall through the hole. Just to let you know. But yeah, the turret moves all the way about. The gun moves up and down. The treads move, and that's really all I can say for tank mode. He's got, you know, all the little tiny paint app details. They're like all showing in this mode. I don't think anything really gets covered up in tank mode, so they're all showing. And it looks pretty good. It looks like a tank. It looks like it's ready to go tank something, you know, tank. But anyhow, this has been Zachamus Prime, bringing you another Transformers third-party review. Zeta Toys Brawl. He's pretty decent. I hate the treads. The robot mode is just super kibbly and just chunky looking. Like all of the other Zeta Toys figures so far. Though actually, to be honest, he looks less kibbly than, say, their Blast Off or their Vortex. But he's still pretty kibbly. And in any improvement we got over the other figures in terms of aesthetics, you make up with this. This is like, these treads are a nightmare. I don't like them at all. I would have much rather, like I think it's cool that they made the treads, but on the other hand, it's like, man, guys, you could have made this toy so much easier to play with, so much better to deal with if we didn't have these freaking treads. But yeah, so all in all, if you're collecting Zeta Toys figures, then you're going to want this one anyhow, because it's going to be a continuation of the series. If you haven't gotten into them yet, I still recommend the Unique Toys figures over these ones, because the Unique Toys figures, like every one of them, has been fantastic. Has looked great in both modes, and has looked great in combined mode, and looks great, like doesn't transform like that. So if you haven't gotten into it yet, that's where I recommend getting into it. If you're already invested because these guys are like cheaper than the other ones, then you know you're getting your money's worth, so don't complain. And everybody, thank you for watching. You're all awesome. As I come up with more ideas for my anniversary giveaway, I will let you guys know. But everybody, be awesome to each other, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.